Her voice cut through the noise of the factory floor, shrill, desperate. "Come home now." No explanation, just panic. By the time I pulled into the street, I saw the flashing lights. Police cars lined the curb, neighbors gathered in small clusters, their faces lit with curiosity and pity. My son broke from the crowd the moment he saw me. His small frame collided with mine, trembling, his eyes wide. "Dad, don't go inside," he whispered, clutching my sleeve. "Mom doesn't want you to see." The fear in his voice wasn't for himself, it was for me. I peeled his hands away, my movements deliberate, silent. I had trained myself to walk into war zones with a calm face. This was no different. Inside, the smell hit first. Metallic, thick, wrong. Officers moved carefully through the living room. My wife stood near the kitchen, hair wild, arms folded across her chest as if she were the one who needed protection. She saw me, eyes darting, face pale. "It's not what it looks like," she stammered. That was the moment I knew it was exactly what it looked like. They led me toward the back room. Every step felt like sinking into quicksand. The officers parted, revealing the scene. Blood on the carpet. A body bag half-zipped. Not family, not a stranger. Someone I knew. His clothes were scattered near the couch, half-folded, half-torn. His wallet sat on the table, open. I didn't need to see the ID. I recognized the face. A neighbor, a friend, someone who had been in my home too many times to count. My wife's excuses began before the silence broke. He forced himself, he wouldn't stop. But the details didn't fit. His shirt folded neatly, his shoes placed by the door, a wine glass with her lipstick, another with his. No forced entry, no struggle. This wasn't an attack. This was routine. I felt the betrayal coil itself around my ribs, a serpent squeezing until I could barely breathe. My son's voice echoed in my head. "Don't go inside." He already knew. Children always know. I didn't speak that night. I let the police take their statements, file their reports, carry the body out beneath a white sheet. I stood by the doorway, arms folded, face carved into stone. They thought I was in shock. In truth, I was calculating. Days passed. I moved like a shadow through my own house, watching, listening. My wife played the grieving victim for neighbors, weeping at the appropriate moments. But grief doesn't buy new jewelry. Grief doesn't delete messages from a phone. I checked her records, bank withdrawals that didn't match groceries or bills, hotel stays under an alias. I memorized times, dates, the names of the other men she thought she had hidden. Each discovery was a knife slid deeper into the hollow where love used to live. My son avoided her now. He stayed in his room, eyes dark, voice quiet. When I asked what he had seen, he only shook his head. But children don't need words. His silence was enough. I gathered evidence piece by piece, not for the police. They had their version, a tragic accident, a story already filed. This was for me. When the phone records finally arrived, I sat alone at the kitchen table. Numbers scrolled down the page, each one a map of her betrayal. Dozens of calls to the dead man, dozens more to others, some short, some long. Midnight conversations that lasted hours. It wasn't a single mistake, it was a double life. I didn't rage, I didn't break. I simply folded the papers into an envelope and waited. That evening, when she returned from the store, I placed the envelope on the counter. "Open it." Her hands shook as she pulled the pages free. Her eyes scanned, widened, filled with panic. She looked at me then, waiting for a reaction, for fury, for anything human. I gave her nothing. The silence stretched, suffocating. Finally, she whispered, "Please, don't tell him. Don't tell our son." Her words were the last confirmation I needed. She hadn't cared about me. Not about the man in the bag, not even about her child. Only about the story she could still control. I didn't scream. I didn't strike. Revenge required precision. I walked past her and entered my son's room. He looked up, wary. "Come with me," I said softly. We sat at the table together. I handed him the same envelope she had just opened. His eyes moved slowly across the pages, his lips pressing tighter with every line. He didn't speak. He didn't need to. I turned then, my gaze fixed on her. "He deserves the truth," I said. My voice was calm, steady. A blade laid flat on the table. Her face crumpled. Tears came fast now, not the staged ones she offered the neighbors. Real tears. Ugly, desperate. But they weren't for what she had done. They were for what she had lost. Control, the narrative, her son's belief in her. "Don't do this," she begged, reaching for him. He pulled his hand away. And in that single motion, she lost everything. The police had taken one body from this house. I had taken another. Her mask. She still lived here, but she was a ghost now. Every room colder when she entered, every silence heavier. My son avoided her entirely, his trust severed with surgical precision. I felt no pity, no rage, just clarity. I had thought betrayal was a wound. It wasn't. It was a door. One that, once opened, showed you the truth you had been blind to all along. She hadn't just cheated. She hadn't just lied. She had killed something in this house long before the body on the carpet. And I had buried what was left of her with nothing more than the truth. The night ended as it always did. Quiet, still. My son asleep, safe, beside me. Her footsteps echoing down the hallway, empty, hollow. I had lost a wife, but I had gained something sharper: freedom.